Advaita Acharya O Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Acharya Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare. Hare Radha, Govinda, Govinda, Radhe. Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radha Govinda, Radha Today is a very auspicious day. Many great saints appear on this day, and many saints disappeared. So, Advaita Acharya, his appearance day is today. Yes, Abhibha. So, and also Vishwanath, I think. Only Advaita Acharya. It was yesterday. Yes. So, that we are sitting here today and that we can hear Harikatha from the highest, on the highest level, on the level we can maybe understand something. It is because of Advaita Acharya, because he is incarnation of Sat Shiva. He has his own planet he is an incarnation of Lord, Supreme Lord. And he was praying, worshipping Sadhaka Shila on the Ganga, and calling the Lord, you please come, otherwise I have to destroy the whole population. It was becoming very demoniac, everything. So he prayed, please my Lord, you come. Yes, and the Lord appeared. He came to this world, and he revealed to Advaita Acharya who he was. So there are many beautiful pastimes. One can read this in Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavata also. As Advaita Acharya was an elderly devotee already when Mahaprabhu appeared. And he had a family, also his wife, what was the name of it? Sitate. Was a very high-class devotee. And he got some sons. I don't remember now how many, but one was especially, I do not, Achyutana, yeah. So he also is a very special soul and coming from the transcendental plane. So this was manifested, these pastimes, his youth pastimes, they're manifested in a Navadvip plan. So we do not hear that Advaita Acharya was also in Puri. I don't remember any. So perhaps he was old this time. And also not known when he left. So, but these teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the Panchatattva generally, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, and Shivas. They are not ordinary, they are eternal associates of the Lord. When he appears in this world, he comes with his entourage, with all his devotees who are close to him. And he gave us these teachings, and it comes down unchanged to this time now, to one who is interested to really understand Krishna consciousness and Advaita Acharya's pastimes. We have to go deeper in us. Otherwise we will not be able to understand. It will be just a story, just entertainment. So, and Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, many of his disciples, become very, very qualified. They are also eternal associates of the Lord. They are coming to this world not because of their karmic past. They are coming because they want to serve Lord Chaitanya, the Panchatattva. And Radha Govinda, of course, is the goal, or wherever one feels at home. So we are trying to understand spiritual life proper, otherwise everything is only external. We try to understand it so that we are becoming also qualified to get the association of such great devotees. They are not dying, we have to understand this. There is no death existing. They are all eternal. But if we try to understand it with our material senses, with our mundane conception, we will not be successful, we will not understand. So that's because we are reading Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the Gaudiya Math, and our Gurudev, our Divine Master, who is strictly in the line of the disciple succession, and many other pure acharyas, pure devotees. Now we are reading the Amritavani, the nectar of instructions about devotional service. Srila Prabhupada spoke, and it was written down. But there's a question, how should devotees live at home? And how should they live in the mud? So whether they live in the mud or outside as householders, devotees should live externally like materialists, while remaining internally fixed in devotional service. Do not dress simply like a devotee externally, while internally remaining attached to material enjoyment, house, wealth, and fame. This is duplicity, and duplicity is extremely detrimental to devotional service. So with other words, not the external dress or tilak or a shaved head even, makes us a devotee. This, we find many of these devotees do not, externally dressing like devotees, but internally remaining attached to material enjoyment, house, wealth and fame. So we should practice normal material life as it is. We are born here, we have to act. That is like this, but internally we should always think of the Lord in our heart and never forget Him. Those who practice it misguide the living entities from the path of devotional service and lead them to hell. So pseudo-renunciation, monkey renunciation is abominable. Now, monk is also very austere. But when you see their activities, then you know they are monkeys. Those who practice it misguides the living entities from the path of the ocean, so it leads them to hell. Our only duty is to follow the ideal example and teachings of Mahaprabhu. Just consider what Srimad Mahaprabhu told Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Mogada Vairagya Kara Loga Digana Loga Vyavahara Ajirat Krishna Tamaya Karibe Udhar. You should not make yourself a show puddle devotee and become a false renunciant. For the time being, enjoy the material world in a fitting way, but do not become attached to it. Within your heart, you should keep yourself very faithful. But externally, you may behave like an ordinary man. Thus, Krishna will soon be very pleased and deliver you from the clutches of Maya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, this verse is spoken like this. Do we have any question on or comments? You agree? Now this is also important thing. The next. I'm sorry, but I got little sick. Can a person become liberated from material existence simply by becoming a sannyasi? Srila Prabhupada says on this. Dressing like a sannyasi and becoming a real sannyasi are not the same thing. We have to take sannyas from material enjoyment and the desire for liberation. So this desire for liberation is also sense gratification, because we want to be free from this material plane of suffering and bliss and up and down and up and down, and death and birth, disease, old age. So he decides, I want to be liberated, he wants to get out. But this is not sannyasi's duty to get out, or it's not his goal. Sannyas from material enjoyment, the desire for liberation, they are not the goal of sannyasi, Vaishnava sannyasi. One who has made Krishna's devotional service the essence of life by renouncing the desire for religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation is the real sannyasi. One who has made Krishna's devotional service the essence of life by renouncing the desire for religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and liberation is the real sannyasi. To become a real sannyasi means to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans and to become attached to the transcendental Lord. In addition, dressing like a sannyasi is nothing but imitation, pretense. Sri Mahaprabhu states, Bharatma nishtamatra vesha dharma, mukunda sevaya samsara dharma. The real purpose of accepting sannyas is to dedicate oneself to the service of Mukunda. By serving Mukunda, one can actually be liberated from the bondage of material existence. So if after accepting sannyas one lovingly serves Krishna with body, mind, speech, wealth, knowledge, intelligence, and his possessions, he can both become liberated from material existence and become a bhakta. It is impossible to attain any benefit without rendering the Supreme Lord service. Whether one lives at home or in the mud, one must engage in the Lord's service as his life and soul. Then only can he please the Lord. He must give up miserliness and the propensity to cheat. If he can make the Lord's service the goal of life, he can attain the Lord's mercy in this lifetime. So this is a very deep understanding he is giving us. Then we are fortunate we will catch something. It will not, everything we will be able to understand when we are making the first steps towards the Lord, trying to surrender or trying to serve the Lord's devotees, his pure devotees. And it will go to Lord Chaitanya Nityananda and go to up to Radha, Govinda, or Vishnu, or wherever he feels at home. Yes, no question. Yeah. It is possible to recognize a devotee simply by examining his external activities, education, or degree of wealth. So materialists are fond of sense gratification. Dry renunciants are detached from material enjoyment, recognizing it as the source of misery. Both materialists and dry renunciants are full of material desires, and therefore non-devotees. So even dry renunciants are full of material desires. They perform great austerities with the goal, I want to become powerful, I want to enjoy. And on a higher level, of still this mood of enjoyment is there. I am the enjoyer. Both materialists and dry renunciates are full of material desire, and therefore non-devotees. It is why they cannot understand the service attitude and spontaneous renunciation of bhaktas. If one tries to recognize a devotee by his external appearance, his high birth, opulence, education, beauty, or other material prosperity, or by his lack of these things, he is bound to be deceived. So we should be very careful to see devotee if we are not have the eyes to see. If we have not the eyes to see, then everybody we should give respect according. Otherwise we will be deceived. Even the most intelligent persons are unable to understand a Vaishnava's activities and behavior. When karmis and jnanis, material enjoyers or dry renunciates look at devotees through their gross external vision, they do not see the devotee's true identity. A devotee who serves the Lord lacks no opulence, because the Lord himself possesses all 6 opulences. Instead of enjoying their opulence, however, devotees offer it to their worshipable Lord. And unlike materialists and renunciants, neither enjoy the opulence nor give it up. Therefore, whether one sees a devotee with opulence or with no apparent opulence, one should not disrespect him, because that devotee knows perfectly well how to utilize everything in the Supreme Lord's service. A devotee is neither sense enjoyer nor a renunciant. He is something other than either of this, because he gratifies his beloved Lord's senses. And it's only possible to develop this conception by the mercy of a devotee. Therefore, if one engages constantly in Sri Hari's service, constantly chanting his names, giving up false ego, and taking shelter of the Vaishnava Guru's lotus feet, then one's improper attempts to measure both the Lord and his devotees, as well as one's material thirst, will diminish, and one will certainly attain eternal auspiciousness. So it is very dangerous to measure both the Lord and his devotees. We cannot understand the Lord. He's unlimited. Our capacity is, we do not much more than this body, and our consciousness is also not, we are not trained, or we are not taught even to understand the subtle plane. What to say of the transcendental plane? We are imprisoned we are depending on sense gratification, or the only goal of materialists is how can I enjoy more, whatever it may be. They will not even think of offering something to Krishna. It's only meant for me. And they come to Krishna to ask him for, give me more sense gratification. So God becomes the servant of the jiva soul. He's not serving us. He's teaching us. So when we face difficulties in this life, it is the mercy of the Lord. If everything goes nice, then it means we have many births to come to experience what this life, what this material world is. We are in a prison house, we are in hell now. So, is working for Krishna, devotional service. A devotee has no engagement other than to work for Krishna. Whatever the pure devotees do for the Lord's pleasure is devotional service. A person is subject to enjoy the fruits of his work. If he considers himself the doer, therefore there is a gulf of difference between karma and bhakti. But how can we attain Krishna's service? We are souls surrendered to Krishna. Or not. We are souls surrendered to Krishna. We are under the shelter of the spiritual master's lotus feet. It is not possible to see the Lord with our present material eyes. The Lord's pure devotees always see him through eyes anointed with devotion. We are conditioned souls. Our conception as servants of Supreme Lord will be awakened if we can simply carry the shoes of Sri Chaitanya Dev's servants. So by the mercy of the devotees, we will receive spiritual eyes, anointed with devotion, and then by the spiritual master's mercy, attain realization of and service to Krishna. So simple. We make it so complicated. So many obstacles. We want it complicated. Just for a little enjoyment. And this is mostly in the mind, when the object of our enjoyment is appearing. It changes. And the next two objects appear. But you have to understand this material world, how it works. And in this way we forget Krishna. We cannot think of him. Because our mind is running outside. it is, we are thinking we are dependent on the external. We have no faith in Krishna. So many of our Goswamis, they just have given everything, surrendered absolutely to Krishna. The 6 Goswamis. They were living on very simple, like Sanatana Goswami. He was living on chapati. He got some grain, and made fire, and on this fire he made chapati. Then he offered it to his Shila. And Krishna appeared to him and said, "Can I not put a little salt in?" Without salt is not tasting. And Sanatana said, "Today you want salt, tomorrow what you want?" So they were so simple. But then you can see the first temple manifested. Sanatana Goswami's temple is famous. Rupa Goswami, famous temple. All the Goswamis had, they're living so simple. Everything, they did not care, but Krishna cared for them very nicely. So we have to develop this kind of faith in the Lord. Otherwise, we have to agree that we are atheists. Or we are guilty. We are rascals, and we think he will not help me because I'm a rascal. Better to follow the atheists. He does not exist. This is this is the material world is working. So by the mercy of devotees we will receive spiritual eyes, anointed with devotion. And then by the spiritual master's mercy, we attain realization of and service to Krishna. Any question? Now we have many topics.
When you say atheist, just appears one question. Is there any difference between atheists who say no faith at all, or one person who has very little faith?
Very little faith you will find everywhere. But it is something like, the last step before that's because they believe in God, but they have no experience. They have not realized that He exists. They have not got the eyes to see Him. So it is, as long as this is there, there's always doubts. As long as we have not realized, as long as we have not a relation to Him, we keep us this open, We don't want to cross it because I know it could be my sense gratification could stop when I enter more If we would be sure that he exists, then we would immediately surrender. Who wants to suffer here in this world, fighting, cheating, like behaving like animals? Every day you have to fight so many things. There's no peace in the heart, no peace in the mind. There's always aggression there. One is not very advanced or very intelligent if he is not going for the real thing. It means we have no full faith in Krishna. Otherwise, when we have full faith, we are becoming full dependent on the Lord, on His mercy. Then the Lord and His devotees will help us and guide us towards. And they make operation our eyes, because we want to see Lord with His eyes. We want to touch Him with His hand. This is useless. We are not able. Even your mind cannot reach Krishna. Mind is an expansion of the body conception, bodily conception. And the desire to enjoy, to be the Lord, I decide what I want. I want to become like God, But it doesn't work. And it takes many lifetimes until we realize these things. We are not able to surrender, to accept whatever He arranges, because we have no faith in Him. Whatever He arranges, whatever may happen, it will happen anyway. This is reality, what happened now. When we finish this class, then everybody goes in the past, and from the past it jumps to the future, what I will do. It means the past is gone, and the future is not yet here. It means he lives in an illusion world, dream world. Could it be? We are not here and now.
That would mean serving Krishna, we are in presence.
Yes, yes. This all great saints have. When I was about 15, 16 years, I was getting a book from Timer Suliri and Richard Albe, I think was his name. They were experimenting. They both were professors at university, but at this time they were making experiments with different hallucinogen. It expands the consciousness, so to say. They come to the subtle plane. And his book was called Be Here and Now. Because as Richard Albright, one of them went to India. So he wanted to know, he went to the Himalaya and he found one Ram Bhakta there. And Babaji. And he taught him, and he is still, I think he's still alive. He's still preaching this, what he got there. So to be here now, it was something what was a very good statement, and I was thinking about a lot. And in his book was also the first time I reading the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this was spontaneous. I was in our youth. We were walking in the forest, or we were not looking all these things. It was not available. But I'm walking on the streets, and I chanted this mantra. I'm not understanding really what. I even singing it. It was not said that they're singing it. I don't know why I was singing it. I never heard about that Hare Krishna. But it's very attractive. Krishna Nam is no difference. We have to become sincere. Half sincere means half. You will not get the whole thing. You will not get. We have to learn to accept everything as it is, as it comes, like this. It's necessary. Finished, okay. No question. Spiritual topics. It's a little different than talking stories. Sri Advaita Acharya Vipava Mahotsava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev Nityalila Pavishtam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Acharya Stota Shastri Srimad Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Nothing else.